warm welcome to iWish 2022. We kicked off this morning with our first session and already there has been some incredible feedback. What a great day we have in store for all the schools attending. We've got an incredible lineup of speakers. iWish co-founders Gillian Keating and Caroline O'Driscoll are also going to be joining us. We have different content throughout the day with a variety of speakers and different companies involved. So don't worry, the iWish team will be sending on the other sessions you missed out on next week, okay? Big thanks to all our sponsors who have supported the event, our platinum partner Deloitte, our premium partners Arup, Stripe, Dell Technologies, PepsiCo, Johnson & Johnson, Ronan Daily German, Stryker, AWS, Merck, and many more iWish Circle sponsors. The iWish app is available to download, so if you haven't already done so, download it now. On Android, you can search iWish Event 2020, and on iPhone, just simply search iWish. There are so many great prizes to give away today, so the rules are complete the survey, send in your comments using the hashtag iWish22 to be in with a chance to win. And if you're not in, lads, you can't win. CEO of Stripe, John Collison, is going to be on later in the session, and I hear he has a big announcement, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that one. Now let's check in with Nisha and Abby over in the social media hub. Girls, what's up for grabs?
We have Fitbits gifted by Fitbit, Colgate goodie bags, one for all vouchers, Fitbit sponsored by Johnson & Johnson and PepsiCo goodie bags.
We have Amazon vouchers, Irish women's rugby shirts and Beats headphones sponsored by Vodafone. Horner and CEIA are also giving away some laptops.
So all you have to do is get interacting with us throughout the day and send in your comments on social media and use the hashtag iWish22.
If a speaker inspired you, or you just want to give us general feedback about the session, we will be giving prizes for the best comment.
Our top prizes will be going to anyone who completes the survey and opts in at the end to win a prize. So it's simple, get out your phones, make sure you have the iWish app downloaded and complete the survey.
We will be watching you. Check back in with us later.
They really will. They really will be watching you. Thanks for that, girls. It all sounds very exciting. We've had so many great comments in from the session this morning. So let's make this session an even better one. Now, over the last 2 years, iWish has been developing an international following. It's girls just like you tuning in today, some of the smartest minds in the country that have actually attracted multinationals to Ireland. So well done you. Now, someone who knows that better than most is the CEO of IDA Ireland, Martin Shanahan. And we're absolutely delighted that he agreed to officially open this session.
Hello all, IDA Ireland is delighted to once again be a sponsor for this important event. Every day, IDA goes out into the world to sell Ireland as a first-class destination to global investors. A wide talent pool is so important to Ireland's success in attracting FDI, and it's even more important that women are part of that talent pool. We need to continue to open the doors for female talent to step into roles and provide their unique insights for how we move forward. Ireland boasts a rich collaborative ecosystem that implements targeted programs to achieve gender diversity in STEM. The focus is on advancing and connecting women to inspire and empower them. I'm a member of Balance for Better Business, which was established by government to improve gender balance in senior leadership in Ireland at board and executive level. And I know firsthand that in order to sustain economic growth and progress and to drive the future of FDI in Ireland, we need to harness all of the talent that is available. We need more role models, we need more advocates, both females and males. I therefore want to commend iWish for driving a message of, if you see it, you can be it. And with that in mind, I'm delighted that Ireland is now seeking to become Europe's STEM leader by 2026. Last September, IDA launched its new Women in STEM directory, which sets out details of the various programs currently available to attract, retain and promote women. There are 70 programs available, and the ambition is that every company will be able to find a group, network or project to complement their unique business culture. From school level, initiatives like iWish has become such an important part of the secondary school fabric, and others like Vex Robotics, which is targeted at primary school children who design, build and program their own robot, to the successful STEPS program by Engineers Ireland that gives transition year students a hands-on, fun and practical insight into engineering at third level and beyond. Ensuring that everyone has the skills to succeed in Ireland's future economy is essential at multiple levels and not just for FDI companies. At the individual level, it brings employment opportunities and benefits such as better pay, better job satisfaction, and improved quality of life. At the organisational level, it matters for innovation. The events of the past 2 years, enormous as their human impact has been, are also a stark reminder that we cannot be complacent when it comes to protecting the Irish economy. Investment in a talent pipeline is key to our national recovery. Equality, diversity and inclusion impacts and belongs to us all. And like winning foreign direct investment, we all have responsibilities and a role in its success. I wish you well with the rest of your event.
Thank you, Martin Shanahan, for that really warm welcome. Now, though, it's time to get to the business end of celebrating STEM. Isn't it incredible that there are so many types of engineers? Honestly, it's hard to keep track of it all. Our next speaker, Orla McSweeney from Merck, is one of those engineers solving real-life problems every day. Do check out Orla's question at the end and submit through the app. You're going to find it under the Student Zone tab.
Hi, my name's Orla McSweeney and I'm a process engineer in Merck. My background is a degree in chemistry in UCC, and this gave me the opportunity to work in a number of labs around the country. Starting with Galway, working in a contract lab. We went in as graduates, got trained up fully around the lab, and were sent out on contract then around the country, which gave us a huge amount of experience. This also allowed me to work in a development lab in Athlone, which was very interesting and really gave me an opportunity to use my problem-solving skills. And then when I joined the analytical lab in Merck, I had the opportunity to test a variety of different products, which are really making a difference in the world today. But I suppose I always wanted a challenge and to change it up from the lab. So I moved into a process chemist role supporting the media manufacturer in Merck. The day-to-day job in this was ensuring that the production process ran well, and if there were any issues, then it was my job to figure it out and fix it. And just recently, I've moved into a process engineer role in Merck, manufacturing membranes, including the lateral flow membrane that's been used in the antigen test kits in response to the COVID pandemic. My normal day looks like coming in, making sure the process is running correctly, fixing any problems that have come up, and looking at improvements by implementing projects on the line to try and make it more efficient and a better process. Never really thought that I would move to an engineering role. I was always happy out in the lab, but what was most attractive about it was the problem-solving side and the challenge that is involved in dealing with the manufacturer in the day. And just finally, my question for you is, where is Merck based?
And we will come back to the poll later. Remember to keep those comments coming in on social media. We have some great prizes up for grabs today. And we'll check back in with Nisha and Abby shortly to see what you've been saying. But first, I'm delighted to introduce our next speaker, Gillian Keating. Gillian is one of the co-founders of iWish. I love her dearly. She's absolutely magnificent. And I can't say too much more because she'll be upset. Over to you, Gillian.
Well, you have been through some crazy times these last 2 years. We all have. But we've learned some important stuff about ourselves along the way, like the fact that you can withstand some of life's toughest experiences, and that whether you realize it or not, you have shaped the technologies of the future. With the dawn of COVID, you faced down the threat of isolation. You found virtual gathering apps, hosted online events, went to Zoom parties, and attended VR chat rooms. In short, you found new ways to relate to each other. You created new entertainment opportunities and explored and conquered a new way of learning. Under your watch, social interaction triumphed over isolation, and all facilitated by technology. VR Chat was one of those online places where you could go to forget about the world, relax with friends, and maybe even find love. Joe Hunting's film, We Met in Virtual Reality, illustrates the experience in a pretty cool way.
But I want you to know, even if you can't see your real life family, you have a family here, okay?
One of the key voices we follow in the film is Jenny, an American Sign Language teacher in the Helping Hands community.
We can come together and support each other through our community, whether it's Helping Hands or anything.
The film is not so interested in technology, but more so in the ways in which we find belonging, support, and community today.
Technology is all about innovation, creating and developing ways to improve people's lives. And I get a sense that we are at the cusp of something truly disruptive. A new way of living and sharing life experiences. The metaverse. I'm sure you've heard about it. It's the place that will allow us to express ourselves in a whole new way. We will, for the first time, feel physically present in a virtual space, and perhaps feel sufficiently empowered to right some of the wrongs we see all around us.
Oh, hey, Mark.
Hey, what's going on?
Hi, Mark.
What's up, Mark? Whoa, we're floating in space? Who made this place? It's awesome.
Right? It's from a crater I met in LA.
This place is amazing.
Boz, is that you?
Of course it's me. You know I had to be the robot, man.
I thought I was supposed to be the robot.
Whoa.
I knew you were bluffing.
Hey, wait. Where is Naomi?
Let's call her.
Naomi.
Hey, should we deal you in?
Sorry, I'm running late, but you've got to see what we're checking out. There's an artist going around Soho hiding AR pieces for people to find.
3D street art? That's cool.
Send that link over so we can all look at it. This is stunning.
Okay, that is something.
That's awesome.
It will be a place where we will be able to seamlessly bring ourselves and all our stuff from fashion to art with us from platform to platform. We will be buying digital makeup and digital homes. Our physical and virtual worlds will start to blur. In just 4 years' time, a quarter of us will be spending at least an hour a day in the metaverse. But there's a problem. As Time magazine observed, the positive and negative effects of technology that we have seen over the last few years were born out of decisions made by a few guys in Silicon Valley, California. The internet was supposed to be decentralized, yet today, arguably, it's owned by 4 white men. There is a pushback now to bring the ownership of this next stage of the internet into the hands of a more diverse group, and you can be a part of this. They dream of an open metaverse in which online spaces are owned collectively, in which every person owns their data and can reap the profit of their online creations without corporate middlemen. If you are going to live in a hybrid physical virtual world, you should decide whether you will work for it or make it work for you and those that need you to deliver change. You see, technology is a language. If you don't speak it, you will be silenced. If you are not part of it, you will have no say in how it affects your life in the future. Now is your time to influence what the next stage of this hybrid world will look like, who will control it, and how you can make it work for good. Women like you need to be a part of a conversation that is considering how technology, through this world or a virtual one, can deliver solutions to real-world problems, like climate change. Women are the shock absorbers of climate change. Climate change impacts women disproportionately. Climate change hits their livelihoods, food security, and education. Yet the decisions about how to tackle it have been made mainly by men. Remember, we cannot simply buy a new planet on Metaverse. The question posed then is, in the face of undeniable climate risks, will tech leaders, billionaires, politicians, you and I, take the steps needed to avoid the worst? Or will we simply succumb to the allure of an illusion being sold to us that there is an alternative reality where our problems simply don't exist? I believe every girl can do better than that. As you consider your answer, recall the words of a great American writer, Joan Didion. I'm not telling you to make the world better, because I don't think progress is necessarily part of the package. I am just telling you to live in it. Not just to endure it, not just to suffer it, not just to pass through it, but to live in it, to look at it, to try to get the picture, to live recklessly, to take chances, to make your own work and take pride in it, to seize the moment.
Some real inspiration there from Gillian. Thank you so much, Gillian. Now remember, keep sending in your comments using the hashtag IWish22 and you could be in with the chance to win some amazing prizes. Right, now let's check the results of Orla from Merck's poll. Orla asked you, where in Cork is Merck based? And of course, the answer is Carrigtwohill. I'm a little ahead of myself. Now, our next speaker is Roisin Ní Chualachain, a senior consultant at Deloitte who works in digital transformation. Deloitte are an IWish Platinum partner and are giving our students today a fantastic opportunity. Teachers, you can get busy. Deloitte are giving away 50 places across the day for the Deloitte TY internship programme. And if you would like your students to be in with a chance of this fantastic opportunity, you can fill out the short application form over on the IWish app. But now, though, let's hear from Roisin.
Díoghuiva Chorja. Hello, my name is Roisin Ní Chualachain, and I'm delighted to be here today to share with you how my rather unconventional journey has led me into the world of STEM. From a very young age, I knew that I loved learning about people, what made them tick, how they like to do things, and how I could help them. And often found myself being that designated friend who always got put in the front seat of the car because my friends knew I could talk to any parent. Little did I know that this was a strong sign that my gift is being a collaborator. I studied international business in Manchester as I wanted to try something new. I picked my course specifically to go on an Erasmus, which is a year abroad. I went to Milano in Italy, and I 100% recommend this. You get a grant from the EU government and explore a new place. What's not to love? One cool thing about an Erasmus is you get to try different courses to your normal studies. I took an innovation and creativity course and learned how to think outside the box, how to bring new ideas to life, and how to transform the way we go about our daily lives, which fundamentally was introducing me to technology. I realized that I could get a job in consulting and work in a way that was me marrying my passion for people with business by the enabler of technology. Now today, I'm a senior consultant in Deloitte Digital. What I love about working in tech is the diversity. Technology is all about collaborating with people from different backgrounds, and often from all over the world. There are the engineers who know how to functionally build something and make it work, The creatives, who make things look beautiful and use psychology to understand how do people interact with things. The business, who want to make products and services for people. The product practitioners, who know how to make everything tie together to deliver technology. And innovators, who always push to break the boundaries and make something extraordinary. When I saw this stat that only 25% of jobs in tech are held by women, it didn't surprise me. Working in tech can sound intimidating. I had self-doubt. Would I be credible not having come from a computer science degree? Would people see my skills as valuable? Now I realise, without my skills, as a people person, a communicator, someone who likes to think about things from outside the box, technology wouldn't be where we are today if it weren't for us. We need to be inclusive to everyone who uses and consumes technology. So we need to be inclusive in who works in it. Let me show you what it's like to work in technology.
At Liberty, we don't just do insurance. We give you freedom. Freedom to choose and customise policies to fit your needs. The control over how and when you pay. And the flexibility to contact us 24/7 through our digital assistant.
There's an example of what the creatives in my team do. But as you may have guessed, Liberty Insurance are my client. I work as a product owner in a digital factory. As you can see here, a digital factory requires all sorts of people to make it work. Similar to a manufacturing factory, we're creating a product too. If you think about when you want to start driving, you're going to need to get car insurance. But you're a learner, and starting off, you don't want all the extra stuff that makes everything expensive and super complicated. So you want a straightforward buying process, because it can be overwhelming. So here's a snippet of what came out of the digital factory. This is the newly launched website that will make your life easier as a customer who just wants to get a good deal on their insurance and get on that road to freedom. We're essentially listening to the customer and building a product that will make your lives easier. Technology has been the key to making this product better for customers to use and better for the business in the long term. On my closing note, when I think of what advice would I give to someone considering a career or studying technology, I'd say go for it. I hope I've shown you today that technology needs everyone, and more importantly, it needs more females. I'll leave you with a quote from one of my favourite childhood movies, The Cinderella Story. Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. Thanks for listening to my journey, and I hope you go on to enjoy the rest of your day.
A lovely quote, and I've actually never seen that one. Thank you so much, Roisin. Now, if Roisin inspired you today, why not head over and tell us? Remember, our hashtag for the day is IWish22. Leave us your comments because there's some amazing prizes up for grabs. Now, encouraging all of you to consider entrepreneurship as a career has always been a central part of IWish. And who better to learn about the entrepreneurial journey from than John Collison, CEO of Stripe.
Hey IWish, I'm John Collison, I'm the president and co-founder of Stripe, and I just want to say thanks a million for inviting me to be part of your event this year. We're all here because we have a shared goal to help motivate and inspire more young women to pursue careers in STEM. That's something that's very important to me and very important to Stripe.
What is Stripe?
Stripe is a company that builds payments infrastructure. So oftentimes, probably, when you go to buy something online, it'll be Stripe behind the scenes making the whole thing work. So we make software to make it easy for internet businesses to accept payments from their customers all around the world and to manage their business online. So we employ 7,000 people around the world, including 500 right here in Ireland, and we're lucky enough to be helping millions of online businesses to grow. I grew up in a village called Drumineer, just outside of Neenah in County Tipperary. I have two brothers, Patrick and Tommy. I'm the long-suffering middle child.
Worst thing about being the middle child?
All the hand-me-downs. And then after primary school in Neenah, we went to secondary school in Castletroy, just outside of Limerick.
Limerick versus Tip.
Can't say. They're both great. And then both my parents are, they trained as scientists. My mum trained as a microbiologist and my dad as an electrical engineer. And so we're kind of always interested in, science and engineering things growing up. Our dad would be taking us out at night if there was like an interesting comet to be spotted that we had to wait up for. In addition to kind of the science background, both of our parents ran businesses. At various stages. And so, I think it's the kind of thing where you don't realize maybe it's an influence at the time. But, when we were kids, we would play at running a business, when other people would be playing at, being firemen or being astronauts or something. We had a little kind of toy business that we were playing just as, as kids in the garden. And so, maybe it infused more deeply than we might realize.
How old is Stripe?
My brother Patrick and I, we started Stripe back in 2009. We actually wrote the first lines of Stripe's code in cafes in Argentina, believe it or not.
How old are you?
I'm old, I'm 31. Which, probably feels truly ancient to everyone watching. But I still get excited. I'm still jumping out of bed in the morning because, learning how to code and kind of getting access to the internet opened up a whole world of opportunity for me. And I still love solving problems and getting into the thick of all this stuff. And that's what I get excited by, the fact that many, many more people out there, still have the opportunity to do this. And that's why as well, I'm delighted for the new Stripe program with iWish. These are combining a bunch of the things that I really enjoy, coding and entrepreneurship, and I hope many of you getting involved will want to experiment and develop your business ideas, and hopefully we'll see the next Stripe come out of this.
Who should learn to code?
If you enjoy maths and if you enjoy problem solving and if you think this is the kind of thing that you would be into, you should really check out software engineering as what you go to study, in that I think many people don't realize how good they would be at it and how fun they would find until they have a crack at it. And you should in particular check out the new immersive software engineering program, which is launching in UL this year. It's the very first year that it happens, and they already have 50 companies like Stripe partnered up with them as kind of placements for the course. But really would encourage you, if you're into maths, if you're into problem solving, that kind of thing, to take a dabble on the coding side.
Was Stripe your first company?
No, it's a long, complex history, but basically we previously had a company called Shoppa, that was going to be an online marketplace, and then it ended up pivoting to be kind of more software tools, all very complex and kind of boring. But the best thing to come out of it was that when we were running this previous startup, we said, God, really hard to accept payments. Why is it so painful, to move money online? And so basically the previous startup that we had, Shoppa, gave us the idea for Stripe because we saw how broken payments was on the internet.
Cobble to Edukoni Anish.
Tommy Mahoney in Erin, August, California.
Any advice for the iWish generation?
I really hope people just take the plunge, that no one's going to give you permission to do this. No one's going to tell you, that you're ready. But if you kind of follow what you're interested in, and if you follow your hunch, it can often lead to pretty interesting places. It did for me, at least.
Take the plunge. Great advice there. Our thanks again to the president of Stripe, John Collison. Much appreciated. Now, lads, a brand new Stripe iWish entrepreneurship programme. In fairness, that does sound absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for that. Now, remember to visit the iWish app to register your interest if your school would like to be involved in that. Details are also available on the iWish website. Now, in a few minutes, we're going to be hearing from some of the women from Stripe who will give you a sense of what life at Stripe is really like and how they got there. But first, we're going to check in with the girls, Nisha and Abby, over in the social media hub. What's the story?
There's so many great comments coming in. Kiki said, seize the moment. These words truly stick. #iWish22. Nisha, do you have any comments?
Yeah, so we've got one here from Olivia who says, thank you, iWish. I know STEM is definitely for me. #iWish22. That's absolutely amazing, isn't it? So exciting to see all those comments coming in. So keep them coming.
And we can see that you're busy completing the survey. So let's give a survey winner prize. Nisha, do we have the name of the winner?
Yeah, we actually do. The winner of the Fitbit is Roisin Talbot of Sacred Heart Secondary School, Drogheda. So well done, Roisin. Abby, do you have something to give away?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Take a look at all the stuff in the Colgate goodie bags. And the winner is Naomi Cotter from Loreto College, Mullingar.
That's great, girls. And keep those comments flowing in. We have loads more to give away. And remember to use the #iWish22.
And we will check back in with you shortly.
Indeed, they will. Plenty of prizes to give away. Thanks so much, ladies. Now, though, it's time to get some insight from Irish Water.
We are safeguarding, protecting, future-proofing. We are experts, planners, overseers, custodians of our most valuable resource. We are many, coming together under one unifying purpose: to transform Ireland's ageing water network. We are building on the work of local authorities, combining our experience to create a system that serves our country, our health, our quality of life and our environment far into the future. We are operating water and wastewater treatment plants and assets, tens of thousands of kilometres of pipe network, and clean, safe water for millions. We are thinking about the smallest drop and the greatest lake. We are constructing, improving, digging deeper, reducing leaks and protecting the environment. We are working to guarantee that households, businesses and communities have a water treatment system that meets their needs. We are looking to the future, putting in place a plan that will lay the groundwork for our economic growth and our social development. And we are looking to the future of our organisation, improving our technology, ways of working and training and development opportunities to transform our entire industry. We are striving towards a common goal. We are ensuring clean, safe water for generations to come. Together, we are safeguarding our water for our future.
Now I'm going to put my feet up now, grab a cup of tea and hand the reins over to Elisa Coluccia, I hope I got that right, Engineering Manager at Stripe, who's going to chat to some of the fantastic women at Stripe. So it's over to you, Elisa.
Thanks, Sinead. Hi, everyone. My name is Elisa, and I'm an Engineering Manager at Stripe. Here with me are three of my colleagues who are also software engineers at Stripe. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Nina. And hi, Catherine. We are all delighted to be here with you today. I know you heard from our co-founder, John Collison, earlier in the session. So for the next 10 minutes, we wanted to share with you what it's like to be a software engineer at Stripe. But just before jumping into that, I also want to remind you that Stripe is partnering with iWish to create an entrepreneurship program for students like you with brilliant business ideas that you want to make a reality. You can register your interest in the new program today via the link that you can see now on the screen or via the iWish app. And we'll share more information on that soon. Well, let's get into it. Hey, Sarah.
Hello.
Hi. Can you start by describing what is your role at Stripe?
Hi, so I'm a software engineer at Stripe for the past 2.5 years since I left college. So as John mentioned, Stripe helps businesses accept payments online, and we need software engineers to actually move that money. So both Nina, Catherine, and myself are on the cards team. So if you've ever bought something with a Visa card, debit, Revolut card, we write the code that actually moves that money.
That's fantastic. And what is an average day for you?
It really depends on the day. There are a few ongoing projects on our team. So a few times a week we meet together as a team and discuss how things are going, brainstorm ideas, kind of work together. Sometimes if I'm stuck on code, I might work one-to-one with someone. We'll look into code together. We've been hiring a lot, so a lot of interviews. And sometimes we have social events in the team as well, especially with COVID. We like to do a few things like play games or something over Zoom. But then outside of all that, it's usually focus time for me to get stuck into code.
Amazing. It seems a mix of collaboration and problem solving. I have another question for you, and it is, when you were in secondary school, did you know what you wanted to study in the college?
Not until I was in about fourth year. Up until then, I just knew I liked maths. I didn't really explore what you could do with that. So I was like, okay, I'll do maths in college. Maybe I'll be a maths teacher in the future, that kind of thing. But in fourth year, I signed up to a bunch of different courses, and one of them was a computer science workshop in Trinity. It was a week-long thing, and I absolutely adored it. We did a lot of problem-solving activities. By the end of the week, we had built a game because they introduced us to some code. And I just thought that it was so cool that you could build something from scratch using the problem-solving techniques that I liked from maths. So from then on, I knew I wanted to do computer science in Trinity.
That's amazing. All right, thank you. Nina, I have a question for you. I know you also studied computer science, and can you tell us where did you do that, and what was the experience like?
Yes, so I did a 4-year bachelor at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland. Those years were split up into 2 semesters, and in each semester I would have about 3 mandatory computer science courses and 1 mandatory maths course. And those maths courses are kind of meant to establish the fundamentals. So it would be courses like calculus and algebra, like linear algebra. And the more advanced courses, like proofs and problem solving, were optional actually. And I didn't take those. I didn't like proofs, but I did like the other maths. And then starting year 3, you'll also get less maths courses and more bigger computer science projects to work on. Besides the mandatory courses, you'll have a pool of remaining credits that you can spend on courses within computer science, but also outside of it. So you could take a history course or a business course or really anything you want. And I definitely encourage anyone to branch out and explore different types of courses and different types of fields. I've met quite a few people that started out studying things like linguistics or philosophy, and during their course they encountered some programming, and through that discovered their passion for tech and actually switched over to a computer science degree. So I think college really is a time to discover what you really like and also what you don't.
That's a fantastic advice. Thank you. And I know you joined Stripe straight after college. So do you think that your degree prepared you for working at Stripe?
Yes, definitely. But I would say the degree wasn't the most important thing in my college experience. There's a lot of like extracurricular activities, societies and clubs to getting involved in. And usually those societies would put on events like workshops with tech companies or sessions on how to best write your resume and preparation for technical interviews. And outside of that, it's also important to spend time on your own personal projects, on things you want to build or develop. Just in general, I'd say study, of course, but don't forget the things that interest you. And don't just focus on the things that would improve your grades, but instead focus on the things that improve your tech skills overall. And then, of course, college is a time to enjoy, so go out and have fun, right?
That's amazing. I think we can say that everybody should follow their passion, right? Okay, yes. Thank you so much, Nina. Catherine, over to you. Can you describe again your role at Stripe and what you do in the team?
Yeah, sure. So as Sarah mentioned at the start, we're all on the same team, so there is going to be some overlap between what I said and what you said, but I have been at Stripe now for over 2 years. So this is actually the 3rd team I've been on, so I can kind of generalize a bit. For the most part, what software engineers do is broken up into 2 things, scoping and implementing. Implementing is writing the code, adding the new feature, making the new product. Then scoping is, well, what feature are we going to implement? How are we going to write this code? What's the best long-term solution for this problem? So we typically work in 2-week sprints. So a sprint is just basically at the start of the 2 weeks, we say, this is what I'm going to do over the next fortnight. And then we have like stand-ups or check-ins throughout the sprint where we say, this is what I've been working on, this is what I've gotten done, this is what I'm stuck on, can someone help me with this? And then at the end of the sprint, we have a retro, which is just looking back and saying, all right, what worked well this time? What can we do better next time? And that's kind of how the average development cycle goes.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, it sounds all very familiar. So thanks for that. Since you have been at Stripe since a few years, can you tell us what is Stripe in a few words?
Yeah, sure. So I'd say the first word that comes to mind is definitely ambitious. Every year we make a plan internally about here's all the things we're going to have done by the end of the year or by the end of the next couple of years. Every year I think that's mad. There's no way that's possible. And then at the end of the year, I'm always pleasantly surprised in that, wow, we actually got all this done. And I think the scale and scope of what we've been trying to achieve has been constantly growing throughout the years that I've been at Stripe. So it's just a really exciting place to be. And then the second word I'd use to describe is just fun, I guess. I really like the office. I love the atmosphere, the kind of the camaraderie here. When I first joined as well, pre-pandemic, I got to go over to San Francisco for 2 weeks for training, which was like unbelievable. I was working, but really I was having a bit of a holiday. So yeah, fun would be another word that straight away comes to mind.
That's amazing. Thank you. Sarah, would you describe Stripe in the same way?
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of words you could use. Definitely agree on the fun side of things. When I first joined, I think Rise Dublin office, like people would just come up and say, "Hey, I haven't met you. What's your name?" Like not necessarily working with them on your team. So I guess the culture is just exceptionally friendly as well, which is lovely. Like it's very diverse, inclusive, lots of different people from different places, and we all just get along really well. So that's a big part of it. And then I guess on the work side of things, yeah, I'd say like curious and motivating. We're all kind of like, we kind of take the initiative to dive into things if we're interested in, and we kind of motivate each other to get kind of excited about the work we do.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Sarah, Catherine, and Nina. We really enjoyed hearing your stories. I wish we had more time, but I hope we gave everybody watching a good sense of what it's like to be a software engineer and what it's like to work at Stripe. Thanks everyone for listening, and don't forget to register your interest in the new Stripe I Wish Entrepreneurship Program via the link that you can see now on the screen, or using the I Wish app. The link is coming up now, I guess, but you can always, yes, all right. You can always use the I Wish app. Thank you.
Eliza, thank you so much for that. That was really interesting, actually. Now we're all going to move and work with Stripe. There you have it. Maybe we'll all apply for that internship. Who knows? If that conversation inspired you, perhaps like that, you want to end up in Stripe one day, then let us know. Send us your comments over on social media, because we would love to hear from you. Now, earlier in the session, President of Stripe, John Collison, did talk about working with iWish to develop an all-new iWish Stripe internship program. Eliza mentioned it there as well. So check out the iWish website or the app, as Eliza said, for more details, and do register your interest for that, because it's huge. Now, though, it's back to more 10 fast facts. And here is Breed Sheehan, a sustainability and best practice engineer from Gas Networks Ireland. Now, watch out for the push notification for the live poll and submit your answers. But let's hear what Breed had to say about her STEM career.
Hi, my name is Breed and I'm Sustainability and Best Practice Engineer in Gas Networks Ireland. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I ended up in this role. So I have 5 older brothers, and when I was in secondary school I was really aware that they were getting opportunities to study more STEM subjects than I was in my all-girls school. So I started a petition, and we ended up being the first class to study applied maths in the Leaving Cert in the school. From there I went to MTU and I studied a course called Applied Physics and Instrumentation. It's a course that's really about instrumentation such as flow meters and temperature transmitters, and automation, which is control systems which do things like automatically close a valve when a tank has reached a certain level. It's a really interesting course, and from there I decided to go travelling for a year. So I went travelling to Australia and New Zealand, and after the year was done, I wasn't ready to come home. So I applied for roles as an automation engineer in Sydney, in Perth and in Singapore, and spent another 3 years working abroad before saving up enough money to travel for 6 months through South America on my way home. When I returned to Ireland, I started working in Gas Networks Ireland. And although I've been in the same company for 14 years, I've actually worked a variety of different roles. I've worked in IT as a business analyst, and I've worked as a grid control manager, which managed the team that controlled the valves and the compressor stations that controlled the flow of gas from Scotland and from the west of Ireland throughout the country, so that the natural gas is transported to homes and businesses, to heat homes and businesses, and also to produce electricity for the entire country. And throughout my career, I've loved working as part of a team. So my favourite thing to do as an engineer is sit in a room with other engineers or other technical people and to figure out a way of doing things better or figure out a way of solving a problem. It's my absolutely favourite thing about all the different roles that I've had over the years. I've worked on some really interesting projects, like the project which enabled biomethane, which was produced from organic waste such as slurry, to be injected into the gas network, where it's then used to heat homes locally. I also completed a master's in energy management and renewable energy. And over the last few years, I've become increasingly aware of the damage that we humans are doing to the planet around us. And I've started to learn a little bit about what we can do to improve on this. A role came up in Gas Networks Ireland called Sustainability and Best Practice Engineer, and I jumped at the chance. And I'm only in the job a couple of weeks, but I'm really loving learning more about all the things we can do to quantify and to improve the interaction we have with the world around us. I'm really looking forward to coming up with initiatives and driving those initiatives to help Gas Networks Ireland to achieve their goal of net zero carbon by 2050. Grab your iWish app now and submit an answer to the following question. True or false, many homes in Ireland are heated using gas produced from pig slurry? Thanks.
That's an interesting question. Get answering, lads. But now we're going to go over to Nisha and Abby at our social media hub and see how you all answer the poll question. And I believe there's some prize winners as well, maybe?
There's so many fantastic comments coming in. Katia said that iWish is such an eye-opening talk and all the speakers are so inspiring and she cannot wait to watch the rest of it. Hashtag iWish22.
That's absolutely amazing. And I also have one here from Kate that says, I'm having such a great time learning about women in STEM. It's really inspiring to me. I'm considering doing all 3 sciences for Leaving Cert. That's absolutely amazing, Kate. And that's exactly what we want to hear.
Yeah. Nisha, who was the lucky winner of the Beats headphones that I am so weak for?
Well, the winner of the Beats headphones is Leah Hodgers from Presentation Secondary School in Waterford. So well done, Leah. And thanks again to Vodafone for sponsoring this amazing prize. And I also have a Fitbit to give away. And the winner of the Fitbit is Isabel Kelleher from St. Mary's Mallow. Abby, I believe you have those poll results that we were talking about earlier?
Breed Sheehan from Gas Networks asked you this question. True or false? Many homes in Ireland are currently heated with biomethane produced from pig slurry. The answer is true. God, I can't believe that. Let's give away another prize on the strength of that. Nisha?
Well, the winner of the best comment is Candice Smith from Presentation Secondary School, Waterford. And an Amazon voucher will be going your way, so well done. And back again shortly for more giveaways.
So many prizes given away there, and Abby, I agree with you. I'm weak for those headphones as well. Congratulations to everybody who just won. Time now, though, to hand the MC reins over to Emer Lynch at Arup, who will chat to a graduate consultant, a senior engineer, and a senior wind and environmental physics consultant at Arup about their journeys. Over to you, Emer.
Thanks so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Emer Lynch, and I'm the Business Development Manager for Arup in Ireland. Arup is an engineering firm, traditionally, and I don't know what you think of when you think of the word engineering, but before I joined, I might have thought it sounded a little bit dry, technical, full of calculations, not the most creative or human-centred. But I'm so happy that I was wrong, and I'm very, very happy today to introduce you to 3 fabulous people now who are each so different. They are each at different stages in their careers in Arup and do totally diverse things. They're going to share with me and you what it's really like to work in this career. So, Janet, hi. Can you tell us, did you know what you wanted to be when you were the age of our audience here today? Did you know what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Hi, Emer. So not really. At school, I loved science, chemistry, physics, and math subjects, but I had no idea really what to do with it. So the engineering design subject or degree subjects looked interesting to me when I looked them up. And so then by the time that I graduated, I had a clear idea of what I wanted to do. At that stage, my drivers were that I wanted to protect the environment and do some outdoors work. And so my choice of degree worked out really well in the end. So I worked on some fantastic projects in my career. So highlights have been the London 2012 Olympics. I worked in London and I wrote a construction recycling strategy for the events. I loved that. And then last year I was involved in a really cool project. So I was involved in research for a fashion retailer with our team in Milan in how to embed circular economy in their stores. So my choices worked out well in the end, but I didn't know at the start.
That's so reassuring. Thanks a million, Janet. And Alana, coming to you, can you share with us, you're probably the closest in age to our audience here today, but what's been the path that you've followed to get where you are today in Arup?
Yeah, so to start with, I'm not a traditional engineer and I don't have the same background as many of my colleagues. In school, I really loved geography and sociology, so I decided to study a Bachelor of Arts in Geography and Sociology in Trinity. I loved it, and I even got to live in Prague for my Erasmus year. But when I was finishing up in final year, I was still a bit confused about what I could do with my degree. I think I wanted to be a weather woman at some stage, but I knew I was interested in cities and understanding how people live in and navigate their cities. There are unfortunately no master's courses available to me in Ireland, as I didn't have that technical engineering background. So I went to Copenhagen for 2 years to study a master's in sustainable cities. And I heard about Arup through my brother, who told me that Arup is the place for me. So I followed that advice and completed an internship with Arup in 2018. And now it's 2022, and I'm working with the Strategic Advisory Services team, doing research to help influence transport strategy, sustainability in cities, gender equality, and social inclusion in cities.
Amazing. So quite a diverse path to get to where you are today. And Robina, I suppose you're in that middle part of your career as well. Can you tell us the same question, how did you come to be where you are today in Arup?
Yeah, sure. So one thing that I would say about my career is that for years I've tried to combine an interest in science with an appetite for design and how buildings and city work. And so when I was at university, I started with mathematics, but then I continued with an architectural engineering degrees. And early in my career, I did academic research. So again, in a more sort of like scientific settings. And when the opportunity to work at Arup came up, I thought that was really a chance to bring together this mindset, this research experience and mindset that I developed with my interest on how sort of like design gets implemented in the real world. And so this role has truly given me the opportunity to work on some innovative projects around the globe, from like stadia to tall buildings and cities even. And a big part of that has been that I had a chance to work in 4 different Arup offices in London, San Francisco, New York, and Dublin. And this has been really an amazing personal and professional experience, and gave me a good appreciation on how climate and design really influence the way people live.
Rubina, that's awesome, and I love the idea of combining travel and living in so many different cities with your career. So I'm always interested in that. Now, Alana, back to you. There's probably some people in our audience who are wondering, well, what exactly does an engineer do every day? Is there a typical day for you, and can you take us through that?
Yeah, so a lot of things I do in work are things that you're maybe not taught in college. I can talk you through what a few days looked like for me when I was working on a project called Traveling in Women's Shoes, a project where we were examining women's travel behaviours in Ireland. So for this particular week, we were preparing to go out and interview women from Dublin and Cork and accompany them on a journey so that we could observe their travel habits. We had to arrange times in advance to go and meet them, split up the interviewee list with the rest of the team, organise all of the interview materials for the team members, and travel around the cities to meet and chat with these women. And then we had to go and write up all of the interview notes. After this, we then invited the client to a workshop where we had pictures and posters and sticky notes all over the room to help go through all of the interesting findings and develop a structure for our final report. It was a really full-on week, and was so interesting to get out of the office and talk with the people we actually hope to design transport solutions for.
Awesome. And with the past couple of years and home offices being a main thing, great to almost get out of the house as well. Brilliant. So Janet, like the Arup tagline is shaping a better world. Can you tell us, how do you feel your role helps to do that, to shape a better world?
So my job title is a circular economy and a net zero consultant. And it's a relatively new job title, and it's great to see that it exists now. So circular economy means moving from a take, make, waste linear approach to a circular approach. So we're turning products and materials for reuse and keeping them in use for longer. So circular economy, it's really important to reducing carbon emissions and in the fight against climate change. So my main project at the moment is writing a circular economy plan for Transport Infrastructure Ireland. So the aim of it is to embed circular economy principles in our national roads, Lewis and Metro projects. So the team that I work with, they get an opportunity with the work they do every day to make a difference. So that's a super project.
I love hearing how your values are aligned with your career. Rubina, same question to you.
Sure. So I believe that my work helps to create usable and comfortable outdoor spaces. And to give you a better idea of what I mean, I would like to talk about what happened at the beginning of 2020 when the pandemic hit and everybody turned into the outdoors because they found finally a safe place to meet, to hang out with their friends, and to do all sorts of activities. And at that time, I was living in New York, and what I saw around me was this creative burst. Like people started designing spaces to host these activities. So, say the little restaurant at the corner that go and buy like windscreens or umbrellas to create a nice patio for their clients, or the yoga teacher that walks around the park to find the perfect location for a yoga class. And so this creative thinking happened during the design stage, and we have tools that help us understand what is the impact of wind, sun, and other climate element onto the user experience of the outdoors and thermal comfort. And so I spend most of my day doing this and trying to find building design solutions that can create more usable and comfortable cities for people to enjoy.
I love that, and no mean feat in a country as cold as Ireland. So I think we'll come to our final question. For the three of you, and maybe we'll start with Alana, we'll go alphabetically maybe. If you were to say one thing back to your 16 or 17-year-old self, what would that be?
It may sound a bit cliche, but I really like the phrase, what's for you won't pass you by. I think my 16-year-old self would have needed to hear that to just help calm down and take her time with things. I probably still need to remind myself of that every now and again too.
Brilliant. And Janet?
So as I mentioned, I didn't have a fixed long-term plan at the start of my career. So my advice to me back then would be not to stress too much about that and focus on the task in front of you, give it your best shot and enjoy it.
Fantastic. Thank you. Rubina?
I think I would say to follow your passion and don't be afraid to change, because even if something doesn't look maybe a step forward at the time, it will find its way and make sense eventually.
Fantastic advice. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So what I'm hearing, ladies, is that engineering, it's not all office-based, desk-bound, number crunching day in and day out, and that it does offer you the chance to be creative, to hone in on your interests, to travel, and to act on your values. So thank you for sharing your experience with us. And finally, if any of you, our beautiful audience, would like to find out more, note that Arup has a transition year programme. And every year we hold places for girls from I Wish. So just let your teacher know if you'd like to explore the world of engineering a bit more with Arup. We'd be delighted and honoured to welcome you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emer. Thanks, everybody. That was, I laughed at your, that's tough in Ireland. Absolutely. It's Baltic even in here today. Now, earlier on, we also heard from Aisling Hahasi of Arup. And don't worry, if you missed out on any of the sessions, we're going to be sending all of the recordings to your schools next week. But now, let's see what's been happening over in the social media world with Anisha and Abby.
Check out this fantastic goodie bag sponsored by PepsiCo. There are some really good bits in it. There's headphones, a power bank, a diary. Oh my God, I wish I could get this. So jealous. And the winner is Anya Hogg from Gael Closta in Limerick.
Yeah, I'm absolutely jealous too of that bag, Abby. And also thank you to Emma Daly from St Mary's Secondary School, Charleville, Cork, for completing the survey. A €50 one for all voucher sponsored by Johnson & Johnson is going your way, so well done.
Okay, that's it for now, is it? You'll give us more prizes later, though, I'm sure. We'll check back in with the girls in a little bit. But now we need to take a moment for our next speaker, okay? A truly inspirational woman, former President of Ireland and climate justice advocate, Mary Robinson. I genuinely remember the evening when she was announced as the first female President of Ireland. So it truly is a privilege to introduce to you Mary Robinson.
Greetings to you all, girls from around the world. I'm delighted to take part in I Wish again this year. as I'm very encouraged by the way girls are participating in so many different areas. They're winning Olympic medals in their early teens. They're having big followings on social media for good purposes and so on. I want to encourage girls to be even more involved in climate justice, because it's the people-centered way to deal with the climate crisis. When I was growing up, way back in the middle of the previous century, the 20th century, we didn't know anything about the climate crisis. Even when I was President of Ireland from 1990 to 1997, I spoke about the environment, but I didn't say anything about climate because we didn't feel it. We weren't aware of it at that time. What opened my eyes was working in African countries on human rights that really matter if you don't have them. Rights to food and water and health and education and shelter. And I saw the terrible impacts of climate there that still wasn't affecting Ireland or Europe or the United States or the industrialized world, the global north, as we sometimes call it. And I became aware of the injustice of climate change. And I now talk about 5 layers at least of injustice, and I'll just talk about them very briefly. First of all, climate change impacts much earlier and much more severely on the poorest countries, the poorest communities, the small island states, the indigenous peoples, who are the least responsible. They don't create the emissions by and large. And also they're the black and brown and indigenous people in our world. So it's also a racial injustice. Secondly, within that, the gender injustice, because of the different social roles of women in many countries, different access to credit, different rights even. Sometimes they don't have land rights, yet they have to make their families resilient. They have to put food on the table. They have to go further in drought for water and so on. So that's the gender injustice. Then the intergenerational injustice, which girls and young people generally have been reminding us about, that they have not got a safe future now because we haven't taken action early enough and strong enough. Fourthly, an injustice about the different paths to development of different regions of the world. Industrialized countries, we built our economies on fossil fuel. So our responsibility is to come off it as quickly as possible and make real efforts to move more rapidly to clean energy, because we're responsible for so many of the emissions. But developing countries want to develop, and it's much more difficult now for them. We have to understand that. And the fifth injustice is to nature herself. The loss of biodiversity and the extinction of species. Of course, you're growing up in a world so affected by climate change that it's threatening your own livable future. And I'm sure quite a number of you are taking part in Fridays for Future, and in it's notable that girls indeed are leading, not just Greta Thunberg, but millions of girls in different parts of the world are taking leadership, which is very exciting. And by studying science at any level, including natural science, you can really take a lead role, whether it's, for example, in restoring soil that has been degraded or finding new and creative improvements on renewable energy. The world is your oyster. You can really be leading because you're at the center of what's affecting us. And my last point is one that I really want to emphasize. It's something I learned fairly recently when I started doing a podcast called Mothers of Invention with, first of all, Maeve Higgins, a much younger Irish woman who was a comedian. So there's a lot of humor in the podcast. And also Tamali Kodikari from Sri Lanka. And it was in that series with her that we were talking to and listening to women from the global south, basically. Women doing wonderful things in quite difficult circumstances to help their communities, to make them more resilient. And we started to ask these women about your own self-care. Are you taking care of yourself? And we got 2 sorts of answers. The first answer was, I am so exhausted. I'm so worried about climate. I can't sleep at night now. I'm so exhausted. And the other was, Yes, I know I have to take care of myself. I do yoga. I walk in the woods. I'm learning new exercises precisely because I know I have to make sure that I balance my life. And that's, I think, a really, really important message for girls growing up today. It is tough in our world, and COVID has not made it better. There is a mental health issue that you need to be more aware of, and more aware of your own self-care. And I urge you, in being strong and in giving leadership, to also make sure that you take care of yourselves. And I wish you all the best in what you are doing. And it has been an enormous pleasure to talk with you.
The pleasure was all ours. I have no doubt that you were inspired by the words of Mary Robinson there. I know I was. And she's so right in what she said. We do need to make sure to make time for ourselves, that's for sure. Now, next up is Fiona Horan-Nantua of VMware. Fiona believes strongly in the importance of developing talent from all backgrounds to be successful in tech.
Hi everyone, my name is Fiona Horan-Nantua. I'm a senior manager in VMware and I work for our technical support organisation. And here are my 10 fast facts. I grew up in rural Tipperary and I did a real mix of subjects in school. I loved languages, but I also did woodwork, technical graphics, chemistry, honours maths, sports, debating. And I think secondary school is a really great time to explore anywhere where your passions could be. Number 2, I did a languages degree in UCC and graduated 18 years ago. And I decided to move to France for 6 months and ended up staying 12 years. I got a job doing customer support for IT, more at the time because I was bilingual than of any technical experience. Number 3, this is why I learned most of what I know about IT on the job. The company I worked for was in the very early days of cloud computing. And a lot of what I did was explain the concepts and tools to people who weren't familiar with that type of technology. Number 4, I've never written a line of code, but I've still had a very successful career in IT. I think we consider jobs in tech to be very code-based or geeky or whatever, but that would be missing so much of what you can do in this industry. For example, number 5, my absolute all-time favourite project was working in Johannesburg in South Africa for the 2010 Soccer World Cup, where we were providing file delivery services to the broadcasters of the event. My job was training TV cameramen on how to use file transfer software. Number 6, now I have a role that I love in VMware, leading a diverse team that's inclusive of lots of different types of talent, which is so important to us at VMware. And we help large customers of our software when they're having problems. We focus on delivering in line with values like execution, passion, integrity, customers, and we're enabled to give time to the charities and non-profits in the community that we're passionate about. Number 7, we've worked on major problems across all types of industries. Check-in kiosks for flights not working, banking applications not running on mobiles, production lines in car factories stalled. Our software runs in hospitals, vaccine testing programs, even at the Red Cross. Number 8, these are really exciting, fast-paced situations. And in VMware Support, our focus is bringing the right people and the right expertise together to solve customer problems. Number 9, while the technical expertise and the writing of the lines of code is really critical, what my team do is actually manage the customer communications and the customer relationships. And this is a really social, people-centric job that is just as critical. So number 10, I think that regardless of whether you're outgoing or reserved, a people person or a whiz with numbers and data, there's definitely a niche for you in the really wide range of roles and careers in IT. If you want to open up the iWish app, my question to you today is, what year was VMware founded?
What year? Lads, work it out. Go for it. Thank you so much for that, Fiona. Now let's check in with Nisha and Abby in the Social Media Hub.
Look at all these great comments going in. Leah Kelly said that she's so inspired by this iWish talk and that she cannot wait to do engineering and science for Leaving Cert, #22. Nisha, is there any comments that struck out to you?
Yeah, there's one here from Mariana who says there needs to be way more women of colour in STEM and hoping that the statistics will change soon. Well, thanks very much, Mariana. We hope so too. So, Abby, do you have any other prizes to give away?
Well, I'm happy to announce we actually have a Colgate goodie bag to give away, and the winner is Sophie Byrne from Newbridge College.
That is great. Congrats, Sophie. And earlier, Fiona Horan-Nantua from VMware asked you this question, and the question was, what year was VMware founded? The answer is 1998.
So, do we have another prize then, ladies?
Go on, so let's do one more.
Go on. Thanks, Abby.
So, the winner of the AWS voucher goes to Aveen O'Dwyer from Sutton Park School in Dublin.
Lovely. And some of the comments that were so lovely there. Somebody was like, the Mary Robinson. This is so inspiring. So, that's great. Thanks so much, girls. We'll check back in with you later, I'm sure. Now, just a reminder also to fill out the iWish survey. You can find it on the menu, the main menu even on the app. And the teachers out there, if your students want to experience a TY internship at Deloitte, just remember to let us know. The application is on the app under the Student Zone tab, okay? Now, I'm delighted to introduce you to our next speaker, Nikeza Ishimwe. Nikeza works at Alexa Team Ireland Amazon. How cool is that? Nikeza's story started out with curiosity, as many do, but let's hear from her now.
Hello girls, I'm so pleased to be with you today for this iWish Showcase event to talk to you a little bit about my journey into technology, into STEM. So my name is Nikeza Ishimwe and I'm a software quality assurance engineer at Amazon. And for me, it all started with curiosity. So let me tell you my story. So I grew up in a small country in the heart of Africa called the country of 1,000 hills, Rwanda, but a country that had been coming from a difficult time. It had been devastated with a genocide, with so much destroyed, poor education, poor health system. And that ignited in us a desire to learn, to get an education so that we can become something and help fix the issues that we were seeing in our community. So education for us was a necessity. And I remember if at the time you would have asked me what I wanted to do when I grew up, the jobs I was seeing around that could inspire me were very limited. So I could have told you that I would be a businesswoman at the local market, or that I'm going to be a nurse, or that I'm going to be a teacher, but nothing related to technology. But I remember one day I saw a friend of my dad with a phone, those big phones, you might not even know them. And I was wondering how that thing works. I wanted to understand how it works. And I got to learn that there is a field of study called telecommunications that explains all of that and that you can actually work in. And that's how I got into technology. So I asked the advice around me and I got to understand that to study it, you need to learn about sciences and technology and later choose that field. So I got an opportunity to go to learn about that in Algeria and then later on in France. So I graduated with a master's degree in telecommunications engineering. Later on started my first job coding mobile applications, and later on I started working in the industry as a software quality assurance engineer, which is what I'm doing now. But I've been doing it across different industries, from train communication systems to tolling systems like the one that you have on the M50, and currently doing it on Amazon Alexa products. So what does a quality assurance engineer do? So what we do is we make sure that the products that we develop meet the needs of our users, our customers. So we firstly design tests that make sure that we go through all the use cases of a product and make sure that they meet the needs of the customer, of the consumer or the end user. And then we also automate those tests to make sure that our work is as efficient as possible. And then we do evaluate the quality of those products based on the tests that we do to make sure that if there are any issues, we fix them before we launch the product for end users. So I do that for Alexa products, which has been very interesting and very rewarding for my journey. So apart from that, Amazon does among other things, such as, the Amazon.com website that most of you know that you can use to buy product that helps businesses sell their products. But we have also a number of other things, including devices such as the Alexas, but also the Fire tablets, the Fire TVs. And also we have Amazon cloud service called AWS, which enables businesses to run their applications, to have an infrastructure on which they can run their services, but also a number of other things as we see here. And then like apart from that, Amazon also has a number of actions to impact our communities, such as the Amazon Future Engineer program that enables young adults and children to learn about technology. So we also have at heart to help charities and to foster education for all, but we also have want to make sure that our planet is not impacted negatively by our activities. So we have initiatives to reduce the carbon emission that we have on our planet. So if I can leave you with something, is that if I can do it, you can do it as well. So there are a number of things that you can do. First, be curious, explore different areas that might interest you, but also identify your strength, what you are good at, and follow the passion. Follow your passion, follow what you love. You want to do something that you really enjoy as well. And also seek for advice and support where you feel like you need help. Also, just don't get discouraged if things become tough. If you face challenges, there's always an opportunity. Ask for support. And then lastly, be confident you can do it. So thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you so much, Nikeza. What a story. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, I know we're going to be giving away some Amazon vouchers throughout the day, so remember to keep your comments flowing in if you were inspired by any or all of our speakers. Now, you may not see everyone from our next session, of course, but your names and posts will still be entered into our competitions. And if you complete the survey, you can still opt in for more prizes. How good is that? Now, our final speaker of the day needs no introduction, really. iWish co-founder Caroline O'Driscoll. Caroline, an accountant by day for Deloitte, has a real passion to empower our next generation to be change makers. Over to you, Caroline.
Jobs are changing, and they are changing at a remarkable rate, and all because of STEM. Today you can be a sustainability manager, a podcast producer, a drone operator, a cryptocurrency analyst, and on social media, get this, you can be a chief listening officer, jobs that did not exist 10 years ago. Imagine what the next 10 years will bring for you, but only if you choose to participate. You see, less than 25% of the STEM workforce is female, and COVID-19 has made the STEM poverty gap worse for women. Chances are you won't get to do any of those cool jobs if nothing changes in society. 39% of the global workforce is made up of women, but women accounted for 54% of COVID job losses. Because of COVID, another generation of you will have to wait for gender parity. It is now estimated that it will take another 135 years before the gender gap is closed. That means if we do nothing, you will not see gender parity in your lifetime. Of the 20 fastest growing careers in the world, 15 of them require a background in math or science. So my question to you, if you don't do STEM, what will you do? We need you girls. We need you more than ever before to help solve some of the most fundamental problems this world is facing, from COVID to climate change. We need the best and brightest minds. We need you to participate in the economies of tomorrow, to take your place at the table. So what is holding you back? We asked you. Each year we survey the girls who attend iWish, and we ask you about the barriers to female participation in STEM. Here is what some of your peers wrote. Women think they aren't smart enough to pursue a career in STEM. We don't have the confidence to do it, and we think men could be better at it. In fact, 77% of girls surveyed told us that they are not confident in their ability to do STEM. Yes, 77%. That breaks my heart. To think that right now there's a girl sitting in a classroom thinking that she can't. At iWish, we will not stop until she knows that she can. And I get it. It's not easy standing up or standing out. We have to understand that it's okay to be a red balloon. I'm a red balloon. I'm an accountant with pink hair, and truthfully, I have always struggled with fitting in. She's different, that one. The one with the mad hair. Can I talk to your boss, love? I've heard it all. Recently, I listened to a speech that the actor Denzel Washington gave. He said that nothing is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. He refers to Nelson Mandela, who said, "There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living. You have to take chances." And then he offers this gem. How many people have told you to have something to fall back on? I've never understood that concept. If I'm going to fall back, I don't want to fall back on anything. I want to fall forward. At least that way, I'll get to see what I'm going to hit. Take risks. Fall forward. Sometimes that is not easy. So if you're facing a moment of doubt, maybe you're thinking about doing STEM, but you're questioning your confidence, ask yourself this question. What would you do if you weren't afraid? It's a great question. Sometimes in life, you just have to be brave and take a leap of faith. Fall forward. You also told us about the importance of role models. 84% of our survey respondents identified the lack of female role models as a barrier to pursuing careers in STEM. That's why we bring I Wish to you, to showcase amazing women in STEM. One of our speakers here today, Mary Robinson, was a huge inspiration to me growing up. The first female president in Ireland, she truly rocked the system. But not all superheroes wear capes. They are all around us. Here are some of mine. That's me with my mum and some pretty dodgy curtains on my first birthday, and me with my dad on my communion day. I haven't worn a hairband ever since. I am from a working class background. I was the first in every generation of my family to go to university, which was a huge deal at the time. Some people might think I came from nothing, but I think I came from everything. My parents believed I could do anything, and so I did. And here is my present, my daughter Darcy, wearing her NASA sweatshirt that she bought just a month ago. But here's the thing, she nearly didn't buy it because it was in the boy section in the shop. These stereotypes are all around us, and she hesitated for just a moment. I don't think I have ever been as proud as when she marched up to the till and bought it anyway. I am the co-founder of I Wish. I'm a partner in Deloitte. I am someone's daughter, someone's mum, someone's sister, someone's friend. I grew up in an orange and blue bricked bungalow in Ovens, County Cork. It had one bathroom and I shared a room with my two sisters. I am the sum of all those parts. All of it. Channel your history. It is part of who you are. Fall forward. So don't live down to expectation. Don't be a stereotype. Go out there and do something remarkable. Go live your brightest life. I Wish is about three things: choices, chances, and changes. Today you have heard from women who have chosen STEM. There are chances and opportunities if you choose to take them. And I Wish is a catalyst for change, ensuring that no girl gets left behind. So here is my challenge to you. Be your own superhero. Write your own story. Take risks. Fall forward. You can be anything you want to be. Believe it and own it, girl. If not you, then who? If not now, when?
Those lines are going to be running through my head. It's so good. And own it, girl. I love it. Anyway, some real inspirational messages there from Caroline as ever. Now, I can't believe we've reached the end of the session already. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have and that you have learned more about the power of STEM. Now, if you've not had a chance to complete the I Wish survey yet, I would encourage you to do so throughout the day. But please welcome to the stage co-founders of I Wish, Gillian and Caroline. Gillian, as you know, because we're physically here, we've gone virtual. Well, you have for the last 2 years. What is the difference like from not having it face-to-face the way it used to be?
Oh, we just love the face-to-face. So we miss that 100%. Like Sharon, Caroline and I, we just get so much energy from the face-to-face, and seeing the girls' faces just light up when they see the great companies that are there in the exhibition space. But you know, the virtual events have brought something really new as well. They've allowed us to reach out to an incredible international audience. They've allowed us get some speakers that we wouldn't otherwise be able to get because they'd have to travel. So, you know, there's definitely advantages and disadvantages to both. But we're going to reach out now after this year's event and try and find out a little bit more from the girls and their teachers as to what works best for them. Because for us at I Wish, it's always about what works for the girls.
Oh, I love that about you guys. That is it. You always do it with them first. Caroline, what's your favourite part of the day so far?
I love the Arab panel, actually, what's for you won't pass you. I just love that because I just don't believe in regrets, and I think everything in life comes full circle. And I think the bucket list moment for me today was Mary Robinson. I mean, I said it earlier, she's just a living legend, a complete rock star, huge influencer growing up, and how she has used her voice for climate injustice, gender injustice, I think has been incredibly powerful, and just so delighted to have her participate today.
Yeah, it was great, and it kind of ties in with what you said as well, Gillian. Maybe you wouldn't have been able to have her only for she was able to participate virtually. Who knows? But thank you both so much, and I'll see you for the next session. But finally, girls, don't forget the I Wish website is there. There's so much information about our speakers from today. Do please register your interest as well for the I Wish Stripe Entrepreneurship Programme. I mean, that is a phenomenal opportunity. Now, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, there is a world of opportunity out there for you. Make it happen and be the change. Take care.